Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Best Express podcast, the first one in hopefully a series of many. How are you beautiful people doing? My name is John, and I'm here with my good buddy Chad here. So we're going to talk about pretty much a bunch of random things. So Chad, how's it going today?
It is all good today. Sun is shining, it's a June day, and it's hot as hell.
Oh, yeah. It's surprisingly, I find it today it's pretty breezy, at least around here. But yeah, I don't know, once it hits 23 degrees out there, it's kind of warm, but it's going to get hotter, which some people is a good thing, some people it's not. So Chad, how was your day so far?
It's just starting. Kind of rolled out of bed, looked around, did nothing. Came over to your place, started recording a podcast.
Excellent. We tried recording earlier and it didn't go too well. So this is our second attempt. So hopefully we'll make some improvements. So we were talking about your friend there who's off to Taiwan.
Yep. Yue, who for the longest time has been working at Sacred Media down at Metrotown here in Burnaby, BC, Canada, and unfortunately he got news that he had to go back to Taiwan to enlist in the army. Hopefully it's going to be a short stint for him, and I wish him all the best and be safe, because it is the army after all, and hopefully during his stay in Taiwan that they treat him well, and hopefully we don't have any international incidents between Taiwan and China. Because that would extend it. So
basically, it's one of those mandatory for people of a certain age to join the army, like they do in Greece?
Yes. I believe he's still technically a resident of Taiwan, so he does have to enlist in the army for a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm. How old is he, by the way?
That's a good question. I never really inquired about that part.
Well, is he 30 or so forth?
He should be, roughly our age. If not younger. And
they still make you go to
I think they looked up his record and they said, you've yet to do your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all wish him the best of luck and safe journey to him. Final message to him. Wish him luck.
Yep, definitely. So hopefully you're hearing this, Yue, and come back soon.
All right, excellent. Okay, so we were talking about movies and TV shows. Speaking of TV shows, Supergirl. Did you catch that trailer that was floating around?
Yes, I did, and of course, the pilot got leaked, as just like they did with the Flash.
Yeah. Which we can't unfortunately tell how we got it. But we did manage to see it, YouTube. So what you think?
It was it's a good start to it. I felt it was a little on the vanilla side because you're trying to get the audience interested in the character.
Yeah,
it's essentially an introductory pilot, and you have a character who is just discovering her powers. With essentially a yellow sun, which she's never really encountered before when she was on Krypton. So you have, and because she landed a lot later than her cousin.
Via the magic of the Phantom Zone?
Yeah. So, she's a little bit more, I wouldn't say time displaced, but her time on planet Earth is a lot more limited versus her cousin, who's been there a little bit longer, even though technically he is the younger one between the two.
Yeah. So basically, when they left Krypton, she was 7 and he was a baby. And going through the Phantom Zone, she stopped aging, or basically cut through. Basically came to Earth later. And from the one thing I do like about the pilot is that they did allude to Superman, which I heard before they weren't going to mention him, which was silly. What I take from the pilot, it's very Ally McBeal-like. And speaking of which, Callista Flockhart is actually in the show, which I'm a fan of her. And she plays Kat. So she's different from the original Lois and Clark series, where she is actually running the newspaper online company. So a couple of changes which I thought was kind of to me, I thought was kind of weird is with the character Jimmy Olsen. Now, a lot of people are up in arms whether or not they changed his race, which is not my issue with it. It's whether or not it's towards the fact that they changed him. They changed his character. So instead of being like the smart nerdy type, they changed him to a strong leading man type character. From what they originally did in the comic book and also the other series. What's your opinion on that?
They, since it's brought to you by the guys at DC, they can take a lot of creative liberties with their characters. As you can tell in the comics, they've really done a lot of creative rewriting here and some retconning. In this case, the only thing I can basically say is, you have different universes within the DC universe. And this could be just a tangent of one of those universes where basically it's instead of a white Jimmy Olsen who's a geek, it's basically a very athletic, African-American, Jimmy Olsen. He's still geeking out over Superman after all. But, again, it's a different Jimmy Olsen here. They did kind of allude to that, it would be somewhat, kind of linked to, you could say the movie Superman, but at the same time, you don't kind of get that feeling that it's in its own universe after all. And the nice thing about about this particular series for Supergirl is it's going to be produced by the same guys who does Arrow and The Flash. So that it's not going to suck.
Yeah.
Because they've done a very good job with The Flash, and they've done a very good job with Arrow. And, of course, Arrow came first.
Yep.
The Flash came second. And, of course, now you got Supergirl. And then you have another one that's coming up called Legends of Tomorrow, which is going to be, segueing into another segment here. But let's kind of finish up with the Supergirl bit here first. Yeah. But you kind of... We're kind of going through the growing pains here, and unlike, how, when you had other previous quote unquote super shows, I think the last one was, Smallville, where it's basically, Smallville 90210.
Yeah.
It kind of started off with Clark being the teenager getting out of high school, and now he's got, going into, adulthood and whatnot for 10 seasons. So, it's kind of a little bit different. It's less, I wouldn't say comic booky, but it's right on the cusp of being a comic book.
Yeah, it is. It is a show aimed for, young girls and teenagers and so forth, which I do think it's a good thing because I do think more girls should be enjoying, comic books and the geek culture and so forth. But yeah, Smallville, 10 years waiting to see that damn suit and they don't give it to you.
Yeah. Well, he does kind of get the cape and he does kind of get the suit. He just didn't wear it. It just, I guess you could say it was computer enhancement.
They basically couldn't get the license for it.
Yeah, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah, but for back to the WB, I know that Flash and the Green Arrow, and especially with the new show coming, there's a bunch of crossovers. Yep. Do you think Supergirl is ever going to make an appearance on there? Unfortunately,
Supergirl is on a different network. Now, it would be great if you could get Supergirl on the same network as the Flash and the Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow.
But they are they produced by the same company?
They are produced by the same company.
So potentially it could be.
There might be some issues in terms of dealing with the networks. So we've yet to actually see a show actually cross network. Now, I could be wrong on this. And if anybody can actually give me a citation in regards to you having two different shows on different networks actually crossing over.
Yeah.
Because usually how Hollywood works is if you're assigned into one show, you're part of that particular network.
Yeah, but that network, that universe, that story. But yeah, leave it in the comments. We will put this on YouTube, and yeah, let us know regarding that. So, Chad, have you seen the Avengers movie?
I have. It was quite enjoyable. Although it was a little bit long, and did kind of numb my butt a little bit. But
well, that's the reason why you get the vibrating chair, man.
Yeah, actually, I would have preferred the D-Box.
The vibrating chair.
Well, I wouldn't call it the vibrating chair per se. The chair that kind of makes you move side to side at a little, like by an inch. Okay, but that's about it. Or you can do the ABX, where basically it's assigned seating. It's a little more comfortable, but still, it's again, seating wise in theaters, they don't agree with me. But again, kind of enjoyable. And it was it took a lot darker tone than
yeah, I've noticed that the last couple of Marvel movies, especially with Dark World, Thor Dark World, and Captain America, actually a lot more serious, darker tone. So yeah, I actually did enjoy the movie. Wasn't sure if I liked it better than the first one, but I think I watched the first one at least twice in the theaters and this one only once. My big problem with it realistically is actually the length of it. I didn't think it was long enough, but that's probably why they hopefully they released a director's cut. Because you did tell in this movie that a lot of stuff was edited out and it didn't flow properly, especially with the 3 story arcs. But speaking of the story arc, the controversy, which a lot of people misconstrued, especially with the Black Widow, people think that because she can't have children, that she's a monster, which is not the intention of what we got from it, because we know Josh Whedon is trying to allude to something else. You want to give more information about that?
Well, a lot of people caught their panties in a bunch in regards to calling herself a monster. And I know it had something to do, and part of the controversy was the feminists and whatnot. And I don't really want to use the broad term feminist, because let's face it, it wasn't the feminists. Mm-hmm. Because let's face it, there's different branches of feminism out there, and I could spend another whole podcast and talking about that, and of course that will get us into a little bit of trouble here. But those that kind of are complaining about it kind of miss the point of how she felt in regards to not being able to produce children.
Yeah, which is more towards she is an assassin who basically from the get-go was trained to not feel, and because of that, she basically feels that she doesn't have the ability to love, hence, or even have a normal life, and also alluded to children because Bruce Banner apparently shouldn't produce because of his gamma radiated genes.
Yeah. So being sterilized at a very young age, she feels that she's a bit of an abomination here. Mm-hmm. Hence why she calls herself a monster, because there's nothing to tie herself to where she's at, and there's no, I guess you could say, nothing to actually make her feel anything else. And because she's developed feelings for the Hulk, Bruce, mm-hmm. There is a possibility, but at the same time, she's got that thought lingering in her mind. Is like, well, what if, what if there's nothing that really anchors me, right? Hence, what if I go back in the mode of where basically I no longer feel again, mm-hmm. and so she calls herself a monster as a result. And that's the whole point of the story, is that she felt she in some way is a monster because of her inability to be
a normal person.
Exactly. Yeah. And normal, and not just as as mental and everything else, but as normal, biologically. She cannot produce children, hence she's a monster.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that the extended version, or at least the director's cut, points out more light to it, because I know there was at least an hour that was edited from this movie. But overall, I do recommend you watch it. I know a lot of people have so far because they made over $1 billion on this movie. Good show. But yeah, it reminds me of the story when Joss Whedon was producing the Wonder Woman movie, and I think was it DC or Warner Brothers came back and says, no, we don't want to do this. We have no faith in you. We'll can the project. And I really love the fact that he went over to Disney and made him $2 billion in 2 movies.
Yeah. Well, the thing is this is essentially Joss Whedon's last film for Marvel.
Yeah.
He's done a lot to actually kickstart it, and which is a shame because he's a great writer. There may be a bit of controversy in regards to his stats, in regards to certain things. Yeah, we will go through it another time. But let's face it, I don't really want to go into it on the first podcast.
Because there's a lot to talk about.
It's a lot to talk about, and let's face it, it's talk about ideology. It's a talk about feminism, MRAs, that sort of thing. It's political talk, which it's a big pain in the butt to actually deal with. We can reserve for another podcast, which, it's good for another time anyways.
Alrighty. What was it? Speaking of Marvel movies, the next one coming up is Ant-Man. And is that it for the year for the Marvel movies? There's Ant-Man.
There's Ant-Man, and then after that, the year after will be it's either Thor or Captain America.
I think it's Thor, Captain America, Black Panther. The one I'm looking forward to is Doctor Strange. Hopefully they cast Benedict Cumberbatch for that. Big fan of his. And then there was another one, I think, was it? Black Panther, Doctor Strange. Captain America with Iron Man, which I do like the fact that, ironically, Robert Downey Jr., now a billionaire, is going to play Tony Stark, a billionaire.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to seeing Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch in the same scene together, and somebody going up to them after some sort of discussion, and then the line being thrown out, "No shit, Sherlock." And seeing both of them have played Sherlock Holmes, Benedict being Sherlock Holmes on the BBC version of Sherlock Holmes, and then the Robert Downey Jr. playing Sherlock Holmes in the movies, you're bound to actually have a very interesting, look to those two, seeing as that it's humorous, it's the in joke that's going around, and I know that Robert Downey Jr. is fighting for that line in the script, so it's something to definitely look forward to, and seeing as that the Marvel also picked up, or I guess you could say got back a couple of the licenses. I believe it was Ghost Rider and Blade. I'm more looking forward to seeing Marvel doing something with the Midnight Suns now that they got Ghost Rider back. Yeah. And Doctor Strange, and hopefully they bring in Vengeance into the fray, or something else, right?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I'm not exactly happy that's going to be next, 2-3 years? Also, Guardian of the Galaxy is going to be a sequel. Really enjoyed that movie. Really happy they made that. Ant-Man.
Yes.
So far, when I first saw it, it's like it's Ant-Man. He's just like a guy that goes small, and I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully, they pull some magic on it. And so with Ant-Man, we have Michael Douglas playing, I believe, Hank Pym. And what is the actor who plays that? Who plays Ant-Man?
That would be Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yes. Yep. Who looks pretty young for how old he is. Who plays Ant-Man. So what's your take on that?
It is kind of the direction that they're going in, which is fine. There is a reason why they kind of went with Hank Pym as being the older gentleman, and then it's, Paul Rudd's character, Scott Lang, being the younger character. Let's face it, there are, when you think of a scientist, you don't think a very, very young guy or a genius, because that would be a very, stereotypical character. But Ant-Man was developed, I believe, back when, in 60s, 70s, if I remember correctly?
I think possibly even earlier. But
Earlier
we'll
than
have
that?
to look that up.
So it's kind of, they're trying to modernize it a little bit. So that's why they kind of went with a slightly younger character. At least that's my theory in regards to it. And that's why you have Paul Rudd playing the younger character, after all.
Oh, yeah. Overall, we'll have to see in this movie. I'm still kind of on the fence with it. But it looks interesting enough. Let's see. Oh, my computer froze up. Don't like that. There, I think it's working now. Okay, so speaking of movies, Mad Max: Fury Road. Great movie. I went to see it actually a week after it opened up, and I think recently you watched the movie.
Yes, me and my fiance finally got a chance to actually see Mad Max after about 2 weeks after it got released.
Which, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Found that out yesterday when I talked to you. So everybody was going on about how this movie is actually better than the Avengers. I kind of think action-wise it was. Story-wise, not much to its story.
Well, for all the controversy surrounding, I believe the story going around right now is the MRAs, men's rights activists, are boycotting this film because they had a feminist take part in the writing process.
Say what?
So it's sort of like, well, really? Everything in this movie does not scream, feminist or some sort of feminist involvement into it. But there was a somebody of the feminist movement got involved with the writing process, and it's kind of like, well, you don't see it.
I don't.
Yes, you had a female character that's a lead. Furiosa. She's trying to, cut away these girls who've been used as,
breeders
and essentially sex slaves. So you kind of see, okay, maybe you see that part into it, and then you see Max coming up, and he's basically, accidentally become the hero here by, doing what he does.
I did like the fact that it was pretty much, this is a movie about what's her name?
Furiosa.
What's it?
Furiosa. Which is
Fury Rosa.
Yeah.
And it just so happens it's her story, and Max is in there. But yeah, I kind of my take on it is just basically somebody trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. No, it's essentially it's Max saying, "Yeah, I want to get away. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not going back there. I guess I'm stuck with you guys, so I might as well just do what I got to do."
Yeah, and I do like the fact that he is mad.
Yeah,
they try to portray him as he's out of his mind and haunted by the events of the past, which I barely remember the first movie, and I do remember the second one. And unfortunately, I love the third one because I have really poor taste in movies. I still can't get past Thunderdome. But yeah, Tom Hardy, his performance, I thought, was pretty good. I did like him in Batman. Was it Dark Knight Rises?
I'm Bane. You should listen to me.
That was him, right?
Yes, that was Bane.
He did do the voice.
He did do the voice and everything else.
And for the record, I hated all three Batman movies.
I loved all three Batman movies. That's the difference between you and me here, is because I do, the premise behind Batman is, well, let's make it not a comic book movie. Let's make it a movie about something that could happen in real life. So, and it's
the third movie.
The third movie was a little more. Well, let's face it. You could have something like Bane happen in real life.
Well,
right?
Actually, I was referring to, you have magical rods that allow you to walk now.
Well, I think they kind of accelerated the storyline in regards to that, because let's face it, when Bane broke Batman's back, it took a long time for him to recover.
Yeah, and I believe in the comic books, like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it was a month.
It was literally a month, yes. But the thing is that they said, oh yeah, there's a doctor there that can help you fix your back. Although they didn't realize that he was, down in the pit with them. Yeah,
it's like, it's magic. Just go with it. It's magic. We don't explain anymore. It's magic. But I don't know. For me, what classifies a good movie is whether or not I'll watch it again. And realistically, it took me almost 4 months to watch the first one because I got so bored. And then the second one sat in the theaters. I thought it was really long. But was it Heath Ledger?
Heath definitely stole a show there.
Yeah.
The thing is that second movie I can watch 10 times and not be bored.
I really wish they would have cut out the Two-Face part.
There was a reason why. The reason why they've actually added the Two-Face part is because, let's face it, at that point, Joker was trying to prove a point. Yeah. You're gonna have a hero at some point. He's gonna crack. You got to find that thing that will make him turn, and then everything will, turn to shit.
Yeah.
For him, so that he'll end up turning turning the other way.
Basically, live long enough to be the hero. Live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah. So, and that was the whole theme in regards to Batman. Mm-hmm. You had the hero, which is technically not Batman. It was Harvey Dent, right? Yeah. He was the hero that Gotham needed to clean up the city, and then he had tools. Batman just happened to be one of those tools. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, being the prosecutor, if you kind of turn rogue or go weird on and whatnot, all the cases you've made in prosecuting these criminals, well, they're going to get scrutinized, and those can get turned over, right? So, and that's why the Joker picked him. Yeah, because yes, he was part of that criminal organization to help to actually, to capture, to become part of that organization that fight against Batman, right? Because the mob needed that help, and at the same time, they're all part of this one conglomerate where basically Harvey Dent could actually go round them up, and then if something bad were to happen, boom, all of them will go back out again. Yeah, and that's technically what happened with the third movie.
Yeah, I love the fact. I did like the part where he comes in and is like, "Yeah, you guys been doing your job for like decades now. Yeah, let me show you how it's really done." I did like that part.
So
yeah. We're going to take a short little break, just to make sure the recording is recording, and then we'll be back. All right, thanks. Welcome back to bestxpress.com's first podcast. Once again, my name is John, and we have Chad here.
Hi.
So a little bit about ourselves before we continue. My name is John. I am a computer technician for the last decade. I am a certified computer geek nerd. I also like some certain animes. Not the ones you're thinking of, just the ones that are involving harems. I have a large collection of Transformers, G1 stuff, of course, and some of the Masterpiece. I also have a vast collection of Gundam models, which I have never watched the show. I just like the models, and I like to put it together. Wanted to do something different, so we created this podcast. Our site will eventually, when we get that up and running, we'll stay our podcast, as well as some news, as well as possibly some comic book, which if we ever get around to doing, because I am a lazy fart. And Chad, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Chad. I'm a Sagittarius and born under the new moon of whatever. I'm I've been a salesman for the last decade or so. Before that, I was kind of learning to become a computer technician, but I realized that I don't really have the patience for some individuals that tend to rant on and drone on and all that sort of thing.
And you gotta be some type of weird, sick freak to become a computer technician. Oh,
yeah.
wait.
Yeah. Well, once I discovered I didn't have that affinity and patience, I knew that, I'm going to go into sales, and here I am, a salesperson who's, a lifer. I'm also a geek. I am a bit into the comic books. I am into the sci-fi, and I'm definitely into anime.
Yeah. Which I met Chad when he was volunteering at the local anime club
store, whichever one you want to
run
call it.
by our friend Will, who is now retired from that and married. Was it 400 or 500 kids?
Just the one.
Just the one?
Just the one so far.
So that could qualify for a few hundred, right?
Well, he's at that age where basically he's equal to 100 right now.
Okay. All right, and continue on, Chad.
I've been part of the anime community for quite some time. Actually, it's been coming up on 20 years. So it's kind of I feel old.
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying that.
Yeah, I was like back to, I went to a wedding for, the relation is my grandfather's sister's son, which is a year older than I am. And yeah, I went there, like, speaking of which, my family, like, my grandfather had like 6 kids, and his sister had 10 kids. 4 of them are girls, which are all married, each of them having 3 kids. 6 boys, not married yet, except for the one. So I expect them to have at least 3 kids each if they ever get married. Knock on wood. But yeah, I went there and I basically met a bunch of people, cousins, I would presume. And it's like, oh man, I remember when you had hair and was a baby who had no hair. So that felt old. So yeah, it's like it's like when you meet somebody and it's like, whoa, I remember when you were a baby and now you're like an adult. Yeah, I do feel old myself. Yeah. Which is probably why I'm so immature and still collect toys to my old age. And
yeah. I do collect a few toys myself. I'm a Transformers fan myself, and you and I've actually gone out to Toys R Us on a couple occasions to
get that elusive Masterpiece Prime or Masterpiece this. Which, speaking of which, I actually picked up the Masterpiece. Was it Year of the Horse one? Mm-hmm. Which is disappointing, unfortunately, because they used the cheap original mold and they didn't use the correct one. Oh, goddamn, I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Well, so this part will be we'll focus on a little bit of us and local news going around, and I know that Chad has a lot to say towards that because he's been involved in a lot of projects. So, what projects have you been working on?
Well, currently I am helping out with Anime Evolution, which is one of the local anime cons. But before I plug them, there's a couple of, other places I want to plug because they're coming up in the next couple of weeks. Up at SFU, the anime club there, they've thrown out an event called the Summer Festival, which is going to be on June 27th, which is going to be a Saturday, correction, starting from 2 p.m. till, whenever they feel like closing it up.
Yeah. And for you guys right now, today it's actually June 10th, 2015. So we'll give you an idea of when we're recording.
Yep. After that will be Minicommy. And they kind of started off at UBC. I think a couple members from the UBC Anime Club started this one here, and they're going to be on July 11th. And instead of being on UBC, and by the way, June 11th is going to be, again, a Saturday, they're going to be over at the Olympic Village on One Athlete's Way.
Sorry, what's that? June 11th?
Sorry, July 11th.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm still stuck in June.
It's like, oh my God, it's tomorrow? The heck?
No. Sorry, my apologies. So that would be July 11th, which is going to be a Saturday. Sunday. And again, over at the Olympic Village, when they're going to be doing their little event. And their doors open at about 10 a.m. till 5 p.m.
And prices?
I believe, if I can find it, because I have it here somewhere in my notes, or not, free admission.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Actually, unfortunately, I haven't been able to actually get out to each of them because I'm working on those days.
Non-stop work.
Yeah,
gotta sell.
This is what happens when you work in retail. You don't get very many weekends.
It's like, God damn it, man! I need to go to these anime conventions.
Yeah.
So moving on.
And then after that would be Anime Evolution, the convention I'm helping out with. They're going to be on the July 17th to 19th weekend. And they got a couple guests lined up. The one that's going to be of real big note here is A New World, which is basically the guys from who are doing the Final Fantasy music.
Oh, really?
They're the same guys as the other one, if I remember correctly, was it escapes me right now for some reason, but they still have tickets available for the 5:30 show at the Chan Center. Now, ticketing is going to be a little bit different for in regards to that because they're not technically part of the convention. The Chan Center, because the way their ticketing is concerned, they're handling all the ticket sales directly through them. So if you need to get tickets, then you just look up the Chan Center website for UBC. And
their website will be...
again, it kind of escapes me.
Yeah, sorry about that, people. I let Chad use my original iPad 1, which I've been using as a doorstop, literally.
Yeah, and this thing is slow as heck.
Yes, which is why it was a $700 waste of time.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on, and I'll get to that the website for the Chan Center in a bit here.
But all this can be found on their Anime Evolution's website, right?
www.animeevolution.com.
That's with an E, by the way.
That's correct.
All links will be listed in our description for this one, so don't have to worry about trying to quickly type that down. Actually, I've always been very curious about the process of running a con. I know you have to line up the guests, like the venue towards this. And I know that you used to be a part of this company.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was one of the founding members of the convention here, and for a good 10 years now, it's been part of the scene. It did kind of skip 1 year because of some financial issues.
Yeah, all small business startups like we are.
And and they came back under a different parent company.
Under new management.
Indeed. And I'm helping these guys out since I was part of the old management. So.
Yeah. I do like their website. Very well laid out.
Oh,
very clean.
And I got the website for Chan Center. It's www.chancenter.com. ChanCentre, because we're in Canada. Mm-hmm. And then basically, if you want to go straight to the tickets, it's basically chancenter.com/tickets. So
awesome! Sounds very entertaining.
Yep.
Cosplayers.
Cosplayers are going to be there.
The professional ones.
There are going to be a couple professional ones, actually. And they just announced a couple pro cosplayers. Mm-hmm. Most of them are going to be local. So, for example, they're going to be having the Startorialist. I do apologize if I mispronounced your name. Terra Rex. And they're going to also have a couple of voice actors as well. Janet Varney, who is the voice, one of the voice. Well, actually, no, she is the voice. She is the voice for Korra for Avatar: Legend of Korra.
Really, you got her?
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And we also have Sarah Williams, who's done a lot of voices for a couple of anime shows, including Uni for Hyperdimensional Neptunia and Jinx the Loose Cannon for League of Legends. So,
oh wow,
And I can't pronounce that.
Yeah.
Jukuzere for Kill a Kill.
Yeah. And yeah, for all you guys who don't know, we are based in Canada, BC, around the greater Vancouver area. And one thing that's really cool about BC is, at least Vancouver, there is a lot of studios for voice recording. So a good chunk of the recording for these anime shows are done here, as well as EA, the most evil company in the world, who's also based in Burnaby. So it's a good place for tech and anime and voice acting and even movie making.
Yep.
Question going back to the convention itself. What can a newcomer expect to see here? I know we touched on the cosplay, the professional ones. Have you had stories about the old ones, or sorry, the not professional ones?
I'm not going to go into that because some of them have, there's one that kind of predated us.
Yeah.
And, it kind of, fell flat, of course.
It
did 2 years,
yeah.
Which is fine. It's just that after the second year, nothing really came much of it.
Pardon for my trolling, but an old fat guy in a Sailor Moon outfit.
That has never occurred at our convention.
Oh, so it's only in the States where people take pictures of those, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there was the Man Fae, of course.
Okay.
Actually, last time I saw him, he actually slimmed down. So, he filled out that outfit a lot better. Of course, there was another guy who locally is actually dressed up as Fae from Cowboy Bebop as well. He was a lot more hairier.
Manscaping.
Yeah. So, shout out to Arca for having the hair to do that.
Okay. So I'm assuming you also have vendors.
We do have vendors. A lot of local vendors will be coming to the convention here, and a couple out of town ones. We also have panels.
Yeah.
I will be part of one panel for the adult crowd, and it is called Dub That Hentai.
You want to elaborate on that?
Well, you get to play a voice actor for 30 seconds with a clip, and you get to improvise the what's on the screen. Interesting.
And I'm assuming that's all ages?
Again, as I mentioned, it's for the adult crowd.
So 12-year-old me can't go?
Well, let's just say that, if you're a legal adult in the province of British Columbia, you're able to drink, then you're able to actually go into the panel.
So, laughs? Lots of laughs?
It will definitely be a lot of laughs.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so what else can we expect from there? We have the panels, we have the vendors. Any food?
Well, keep in mind though, it is going to be on UBC grounds, so there's going to be a lot of local restaurants, in the area.
Excellent.
So they're going to be, doing food from there. So there's McDonald's, there's Subway, of course. If you can find it, there's a Tim Hortons and a couple Starbucks.
So it's not something like the night market where we can expect some, takoyaki and so forth like that.
No, unfortunately, because UBC has some strict rules in regards to outside food vendors.
I see. Basically, it's going to be pretty much Canadianized food, nothing out of the ordinary. Sounds fun. Yeah.
The only thing we can actually sell on the grounds is basically prepackaged foods. So, if you're into Pocky, into Ramune, that sort of Japanese candy, that sort of thing, then, you're going to find that on the
Will I be able to find my green tea Kit Kats?
You know what? If there's a vendor that sells it, you'll probably find it.
Awesome. Excellent. Looking forward to that. Would you be going there? Or only a couple of days?
I'll be there all weekend.
Excellent.
Painfully.
So you booked the time off.
I have booked the time off.
So if you go there, say hello to Chad. He'll be wearing a very big sign saying, "Hello, I'm Chad."
No. I'll be running around all over the place, putting out fires.
Don't talk to me. I'm busy.
Well, the thing about running conventions is that...
it is work.
It is work. It is as much as you're going to have fun working there, work is work.
Yeah.
And then play is play. So, I'll have my own time to actually go out and play, of course. But, of course, it's going to be work mostly first.
Now, do you have volunteers for this?
We always have volunteers. And if you are still interested in volunteering, just email the volunteering at animeevolution.com.
Yeah, again, we'll put the link down below in the descriptions.
Yep. And hopefully I'll see you guys there for helping out. Otherwise, check out the new sub building for UBC because that just opened.
Oh yeah,
it is phenomenal because it is all nice laid out.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be 5 floors of awesomeness.
Excellent.
Yep.
And that's where we staged.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. And how much are the tickets again?
Okay, so since we're kind of past the last tier, tickets are going to be only available at the door. So I believe if we're going to go with that, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, looking it up. So yeah, if UBC, if none of you guys know, it is the University of British Columbia, which is in the the west side of Vancouver.
Yes.
Well past the downtown area. Lots and lots of buses that will take you there directly, even on Saturdays and weekends. You got to...
Yep. So basically, if you're a child going there for 3 days, it's going to be $25. 3-day general passes are going to be $55. 1 day for a child is going to be $15 for any of those days. But if you're going to be 1 day for Friday or Sunday, it's going to be $30. For Saturday, it will be for 1 day, it's $35.
So it's better off getting the 3-day pass,
Yes.
obviously. Excellent. And every day going to be different panels, something to look forward to.
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right, so it's going to be a weekend long, so it's better to get Saturday, but even better to get all 3.
Definitely.
Speaking of news around town, let's see what's coming up nowadays. We have the night market, which is our traditional Chinese, Japanese, Asian.
It is an Asian influence, but it's obviously it's going to be run by mostly Chinese people for the Richmond ones.
Yeah.
There are technically 2 night markets in Richmond.
Yeah. Richmond is the suburb of Vancouver, for the international listeners.
Yeah.
Actually,
there's a couple new night markets have just opened up as of late. There's one in Surrey now, in the Cloverdale, I believe it's Cloverdale area. There's one in North Vancouver now,
which I have heard about.
Yeah.
It's always been a weird rumor, which I've never actually found a time for.
Yeah, and that bridge.
The 2 bridges.
There's 2 bridges going into North Vancouver that are heavily used, and they're both quite busy as a result.
Have you been to there?
No, I have not.
Okay.
So I know that they opened this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I will probably head out there, and I will let you know how it is. But I have been to both the Richmond one, the one near the river, and the other one that's near the casino, which I believe is the original people who made the night market.
Yep.
That one, I believe the parking's free and admission you have to pay for, whereas the other one near the river, you got to pay for parking, but the admission's free.
It's the other way around now.
Oh, so they're both
technically. If you're parking directly at that night market,
yeah,
you do have to pay for it
for parking and intro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you're parking away from it, I believe you're able to actually get. You're just paying to get in there. So that one
for you guys. Pro tip: go there a little early. There is an IKEA there. Park there if you can.
Just don't get caught.
Not in the IKEA.
Yeah.
Actually, the road outside the IKEA is free parking, but don't park in the IKEA itself.
Yeah. We call that one near the IKEA the Panda Market, and then there's the Duck Market, which is the one next to the casino. Right. So that's the if you want to differentiate the 2, other than calling it the one next to the casino and the one next to the near IKEA, you call one the Panda and call one the Duck one. Now, speaking of the Panda Market, I believe Anime Evolution has actually done a couple of performances at the Panda Market.
Mm-hmm.
The last one was just last Sunday, which apparently wasn't too bad. I think the next one would be, I think it's this Saturday, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to confirm that.
Okay.
They should be at the next Panda Night Market, so which is going to be this Saturday.
Pandas. I never really did figure out why they call it duck.
You had a big gigantic duck.
They have a big duck.
Yeah.
What the duck?
Yeah.
So, in your take, which one's better?
As much as the duck one is pretty nice to go to, and there's more food stalls, it's a lot more crowded. And that's kind of a given.
Is it because it's smaller, or is it more popular?
It's more popular.
All right.
Yeah. Smaller, I would say there's probably less vendor stalls than there are food stalls. There's more food stalls there.
Yeah. So if you ever want a cheap case for your iPhone or any other phones, that's the best place to go?
Yeah.
Excellent. And have you been to the Surrey one?
No, I have not.
I have been to the Surrey one, and it's a little sad. It's a little sad.
I think last year was the first year.
Yeah, which actually is not too bad. Basically, I went there with a couple of my friends, my sister. We walked around in probably 5 minutes, and then I went ahead and spent like almost $40 on food.
That's kind of what you're looking to spend at the Night Market anyways.
Yeah. So basically, you're traditional. I got my meat on a stick because it's meat on a stick, and nothing more I like than meat on a stick. Don't get dirty with that, please. And of course, they had the spiral potato, which is potato cut in a very spring-like form and they deep fried, and they put artificial flavorings on it. There's corn on the cob, which was really good, and also because it's Surrey, there is a large East Indian population here, and there was some curry there, which was really good. There's also some Greek food. But yeah, unfortunately, the stalls, there wasn't a lot of vendors there. It is on the Cloverdale Raceway? Or
the fairgrounds?
Fairgrounds, sorry. Yep. So they do have washroom stalls, and the parking was free. And I believe entrance is free. And hopefully this year will be bigger. It is different because it's more Western. So the Richmond one is more of an Asian influence, where this one is obviously more Western. The North Vancouver one, which is one I am going to try to go to, we'll have to see how that goes. Any of the other events you know of coming up in Vancouver?
That's pretty much it off the top of my head. There is one thing I did try at one time I was at one of the night markets is the big turkey leg.
The monster turkey leg.
Yeah, I did that one.
Did you finish it?
Oh, of course. Yeah, turkey leg. And then there was another stall that actually did different poutines.
Oh, yeah.
One of them was a mushroom poutine, which was actually pretty nice.
Mushroom?
Yeah.
What is that term? Yummy?
Not
basically the sensation of
umami.
Yes, that's what I'm
not quite. It's poutine, mushrooms, cheese curds, gravy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite things there is takoyaki, which is Japanese fried octopus dumplings.
Yep.
What else is there? There's the dim sum on a stick.
Yeah, there's always going to be dim sum at any Richmond night market, no matter where you go. You just have to turn around and just point, and you're going to hit one regardless. Yeah. As well as a bubble tea stall.
Yes, lots of bubble tea stalls.
Yeah.
Which scares the living hell out of me.
Yep. There was this one year where basically there was a either fruit or bacon on a stick, and you actually there was a air compressor and it blew, chocolate. So basically, I grabbed the bacon stick and I basically, airbrushed chocolate on one.
Really?
Yeah.
I completely missed that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's there this year though.
We'll have to see. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're coming out to the 25-minute mark, I believe. Hopefully you got that. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Links below. It'll be bestxpress with an E at gmail.com. That's bestexpressx bestxpressx@gmail.com. We are playing around with the names, so our new email site will be up later. And thank you guys for listening. It's going to be a short one this time, and hopefully next time, if you have any questions, we'll answer them. If you have computer questions, if you want.
Don't talk to us. Don't. No.
I can answer it, but only if it's interesting. But if you have any other questions towards Chad, he is more of an anime expert than I am. I only recently started watching again after a decade of not, because realized there's a lot of them out there.
Technically, I'm a little more old school anime than new school anime.
Yeah.
So, because I refuse to watch anything new. Let's face it.
But there's so much interesting. What about Death Note?
I've seen that one. I kind of had to because the fiance did watch Death Note, so I had to actually acclimate myself to that one, and I was okay with it, but I didn't find anything special.
I picked up the entire DVD set at Walmart for $5.
Yeah, well, Netflix has it on their site. So.
Good old Netflix.
Yeah. Netflix actually has a decent selection of anime on there. It's just a lot of new stuff. If I ever cared to watch it, I could probably flip on that. Otherwise, you can also go to Crunchyroll. I do have a Crunchyroll subscription there, too, so I can also check out a few things there, too.
Yeah, Crunchyroll. Good site if you want to be updated. I believe they're just subtitled, which is the proper way to watch it. And I myself, because I'm such a noob, I prefer it dubbed. The worse, the better.
Yeah, I still can't forgive you for Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi Muyo. Look that up. It is awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to hurt yourself.
The dub is actually pretty nice.
The theme song of the second season.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Yes, unfortunately, you cannot go with my taste and stuff because it's a form of torture in its own right. But, right, that is our good showing. So thank you for listening. Do share, subscribe, and we will bring you more later on. So I will be signing off. My name is John.
I'm Chad.
All right, take care. Have a good one.